Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Rift S. And I think there's one major thing that's preventing the Rift S from being the all-time best VR headset that is currently out available. Let's jump into this video to find out more. So I originally sold my Rift. I regretted it immediately. I wanted to buy it back again, but then I found out that you can't even buy it. So I guess the Rift S was the next one that I had to buy. I waited months and months and it finally got delivered. Finally have it, and I was like, oh, I waited this long, I don't want to play it anymore. But then I opened the box, I played with it, and I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. I'm back into VR, and I'm really excited to jump into this review. So without any further ado, let's kind of move forward with it. So let's talk about what's different from the original Rift. One, they included a longer cable, so it allows for a better room scale experience. However, one downside is that it gets tangled a lot, and it's very annoying to unravel every time you want to play. Another thing is that they have an adjustment for the headset to allow it to move further away from your face, which allows you to wear glasses. And this is very nice, but I won't ever be using this feature because I want the screen to be as close to my eyeballs as possible so I get the best field of view. As for the controllers, they feel exactly the same, which is very nice because I really like the touch controllers. They're a lot better than the Windows mixed reality controllers. And I find that it's has a matte finish, so it's a little less slippery in your hands. I did notice that when I was playing Beat Saber that the magnetic enclosure for the battery did kind of slip out, but thanks that it's magnetic, it kind of slipped back in, so nothing too really different with the controllers. Now for the most obvious big change is that it no longer relies on outside-in tracking, it relies on inside-out tracking, which uses the cameras on board to keep track of your controllers. And the setup was super easy. I was simply just drew my Guardian system, my Guardian boundary. No longer had to mount and configure and calibrate all these external sensors. That was a real pain, having to have all these USB connections. That was a huge annoyance and pretty much prevented a lot of people from adopting VR from the first place. So I think that is obviously a major change to the tracking and how things are set up with the Oculus Rift S. Now, so what I really like about the new Rift S is some of the software upgrades. One is that you can actually see your environment as you step out of the Guardian boundary, which is a really nice feature. I'm able to put on my headphones or drink a coffee by just simply long pressing the Oculus button, and it turns on my external world. I can basically see my surroundings around me. And obviously the Odyssey Plus did this a long time ago with the flashlight feature, but I think it took it a step further by actually showing your entire world versus just a small section of the world you're in. So that has been a really nice convenient feature, and I think going forward, any new PC VR headset or any VR headset must have this feature because it's quite essential for safety. Another thing I like is that they have a better implementation of the Guardian system. So instead of abruptly showing the kind of boundary that you're in, if you kind of just hit the boundary by accident, that was kind of like not a very user-friendly experience. It changes such that when you kind of step out closer to the boundary, it slowly shows the world around you, and when you step out fully, it shows the entire actual physical surrounding that you're in, obviously using the cameras. So that has been a really cool feature that has been added, and I really like that you can adjust the sensitivity at which the boundary is shown as you step out of the world. So I really like that kind of software implementation of the Guardian boundary system. Now, in terms of the feel of the headset, I find that it's very comfortable. It's very easy to put on. The Halo strap is easy to configure. You simply just turn the dial, make it a little bit looser, and then tighten it, and then you're off to go into the VR world. No more crazy Velcro straps, and all that stuff was kind of annoying. So I really like the Halo band system. It's very comfortable. I still think that the original Rift is more comfortable. I don't know why. I think it felt lighter. This one feels pretty heavy, to be honest, and maybe that's because of all the onboard cameras and all the extra hardware that's on top of it. Okay, so let's talk about the major upgrade to this, and I think it's the visuals. And wow, I'm very impressed. One of the things I immediately noticed when I put on the headset was how crisp the text was. It was extremely clear, especially compared to the Oculus Quest, which has very very blurry text, it's very hard to read. The text here is amazing, and I can definitely tell that there is a resolution bump. I'm very impressed. In comparison to the Odyssey Plus, I feel like they're very similar in visuals. Now, there is a little bit more screen door effect compared to the Odyssey Plus, and that's because Odyssey Plus has the special feature, which is the anti-screen door effect, which kind of smooths out the images. And that's something that you may not even like, so perhaps the Oculus Rift S is presents a better image for you, and if you prefer something that is more detailed rather than smoothing out the edges. To be honest though, the screen door effect is pretty minimal, and it's a lot better than the original Rift, and actually a lot better than the Oculus Quest. So it's funny because a lot of people in the Reddit community were complaining, oh, it's using an LCD screen, and the blacks aren't going to be good, or the resolution isn't as high as some of the other devices out there. And I really think that the headset's visual quality is one of the biggest upgrades. Apart from obviously the inside-out tracking, the visual quality is simply stunning. I am very impressed with the visual quality, so good job to Oculus on that. And a lot of people on Reddit were complaining that, because it's using an LCD panel versus the OLED in the Oculus Quest, that the black levels would be worse. And to be honest, I've been playing a lot of games and I didn't notice any difference. It feels fantastic. Like, the visuals look great. Even in black dark scenes, I just haven't really noticed any issues with that. To all the complainers out there, I think you would rather have the LCD screen because it is a lot sharper than the Oculus Quest, and it has a lot less screen door effect than the Oculus Quest. Oh, and one really cool thing is that the nose flap actually prevents any light from coming into the headset. So there's no light leakage, and I found that pretty amazing compared to the Quest, which does have some light leakage. So that little invention of having the nose flap is a pretty good addition. So apart from the easy setup, the amazing inside-out tracking, and the visuals, that's pretty much all I have to say that is good about the Rift S. Now, don't get me wrong, I like the device, but there are quite a few shortcomings that I'm about to present. So the first complaint is sound. The audio quality of this device, it's using integrated speakers, they just suck. I mean, it's very tinny, it has no bass, it has no clarity, it definitely kills the immersion. I don't know what Oculus is doing with this. Like, why did they do this? They had amazing sound quality on the original Rift using those cost drivers, and they just completely killed it. Like, it just killed it in a terrible way. The sound is so disappointing that I'm almost kind of depressed about this, to be honest. I have to use my Bose headset, and that just adds another step for me to jump into VR. And I really hate any type of friction, any type of cumbersome experience where I have to put on my headset and then put on my audio headset, then plug it in, and it's such an annoying process to just get into VR. I have to do all these steps, and I really find that this type of crappy audio solution that they've implemented is going to hurt their device in the long run, because people aren't going to feel as immersed as they were in the original Rift. They're going to feel yeah, everything looks cool, but the sound sucks. Like, I'm playing Beat Saber and I want to hear the music, I want to hear the clarity, I want to hear the bass, and there's nothing. It's completely crap. So I think it's paramount that Oculus comes out with an official mod or some kind of adjustment that they can add to the Halo band, such that it's very easy just to simply put on device, make sure that it's always connected, and simply just give us better, higher fidelity audio. And I really implore the third-party manufacturers to come up with a solution. I know that there's a lot of people out there that already have some solutions, and please let me know down in the comments if you have found anything that is really helpful for you to basically attach some better headphones to this device, because the integrated audio it's pretty much useless. You might as well have no audio. And going on the audio route, what's even worse is that they eliminated the manual volume control at the bottom of the headset. This is really annoying because every time I switch between apps or games, sometimes the audio is different. Sometimes it can be really loud, sometimes it can be really quiet, and I have to go into the menu, go into the settings, and then kind of fiddle with in VR like the volume control. I really wish they just put a physical volume knob. And what's even worse is that when I have the Bose, when I'm using my Bose headphones, there's this long wire that's hanging out from me, and I'm playing Beat Saber and I'm swinging my arms and I get caught and I yanked out the cord, and it was just kind of hurt my ears because I heard the loud sound. It's such a good it's such a good headset. You know, the ecosystem is so good, but they just completely like, oh, let's just kill the audio. The audio is just not important. I don't understand. Someone in the comments let me know, like, what is this? What is this crap? The only benefit, yeah, sure, like with integrated audio, it's not on your ear, so it's more comfortable perhaps, and it feels like the audio is coming from within the room, so that kind of helps out with immersion a little bit, but the overall clarity and the lack of bass just kills it. Okay, so I went on a long rant about the audio. Let's move on. So another big f you from Oculus is the fact that they did not provide any bundled software, and I don't understand this because, here, let me explain. So the original Rift came with Robo Recall, came with Dead and Buried. Now I have to pay like $100 for all that software that originally came with the original Rift. I don't understand their strategy, because as a new user, as someone who's new to the ecosystem, I want to be wowed by this device. And part of that is really the content, the quality of the content that is out there. And for you, you've just invested, $2,000 on a PC machine. You paid $500 on this PC VR headset, and you get to spend $60, $50, $30, whatever, on more software. I feel like some people were going to cheap out on the software and be like, try the free software or try demos, and then just like, oh, this headset kind of sucks. The software is not very good, and they did return the device. I just don't think them not bundling some amazing experiences like Robo Recall. I remember when I had my Rift, and I was completely amazed by the software, the content. I was like, I'm in love with this device. I want to keep it. I don't want to return it, because the software that came for free was simply amazing. So I think this is going to hurt Oculus in the long term. Now, yes, a lot of people are gonna be like, developers need to get paid. They earn their money, whatever. They put a lot of work. Yes, but I think Oculus should have invested in those developers and paid them such that we can enjoy some free content when we get the device and really get convinced that this is an amazing piece of hardware due to the amazing quality content that is out there. Now, a lot of people on Reddit were crying about the lack of IPD adjustment. Thankfully, I have an average IPD of 64 millimeters. So when I use the device, I had no issues. Other people have tried the device and they've had no issues. I didn't really bother using the software IPD adjustment. I think it's a gimmick, but I don't know. Please let me know in the comments if you had any issues using the Rift S, if you had to return it. I'm very curious to find out your experience based on IPD, but for me, it was totally fine. So I don't have much to say about IPD. And then two little minor nitpicks is they did decrease the hertz, the refresh rate from 90 hertz to 80 hertz. And I feel like I kind of noticed it. It's still smooth, but I kind of wish they just didn't do that. I kind of wish they was given the option of 90 hertz, but maybe it's a limitation of the LCD panels. And I did feel like, this is very subjective, that the field of view is a tad smaller, especially vertically. I don't know why. I just feel like the immersion, the field of view is a little bit smaller than the Samsung Odyssey Plus or the original Rift. And same with the Oculus Quest, I did feel like it was a bit smaller. But maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I haven't really seen both side by side fully, so I'm not completely sure about this. But to be honest, the field of view it's still pretty good. So no issue. Just little tiny nitpicks.
I've had a really terrible issue with my Rift S. I actually paired it with a defective controller because I was trying to test my friend's, he had an Oculus Quest, his right controller was defective, it wasn't tracking. So I paired it to my Oculus Rift, and so far I haven't been able to remove it. You can see that there are two right controllers, and one with the serial number is all corrupted, and I try to remove it and I'm not able to remove it. So sometimes when I use my Rift S, after I haven't used it for a while, the controllers are not tracking at all, nothing is working, and I basically have to unpair and repair my controllers to the device and then restart my computer for everything to work. So if you've had this issue, please let me know, because this is very annoying, and I am not sure if I corrupted my Rift S or something to do with the controller. Maybe I have to reinstall all the drivers or the software again.
Oh, and one last thing, when I first opened the device and I played with it, the factory smell just made me nauseous. It really stinks when you first try this device. It goes away over time, but just be prepared for that nasty smell when you take it out of the box and start playing it, because it's right next to your nose. So in conclusion, I think that the Oculus Rift S is a pretty decent upgrade. Thankfully, I sold my Rift and I have better visuals now. I don't have to deal with the stupid sensors. I don't have to calibrate them and plug into like 5 USB ports and whatnot. I just really wish that the audio solution was out there. I'm very disappointed in the terrible audio solution that's currently present. So please, any third-party manufacturers, official Oculus support, just give us something that we can add to our device that doesn't require us a two-step process to put on your headset and then put on another headset for your ears. Give us something that is integrated and with high fidelity sound. So what do you guys think about the Rift S? Do you like it? Please leave your comments down below. I'm really curious to know if you had any issues that I've had or felt the same way about the audio. Let me know down in the comments. I'm very curious. I respond to all your questions. Please give a like if you like this video. It really helps out the channel, and subscribe for more VR related content. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.